I've got to set up my shit, so I'll be a minute.
Um,
Sorry.
yeah, no worries. I did notice some boxes. I wanted
Yeah, I got a new. I'll show you. Hang on. How do I do this? Okay, I'm unplugged.
I'm missing your Christmas tree though, James.
Yeah, I got a new office. It's just for me, so I put
Oh,
both
awesome.
desks together. Mega desk.
Great stuff.
That's good.
Now I can stream loudly and nobody can complain.
I've started to stream on YouTube. I don't know if James is close to
Got
starting.
distracted by showing off my desk.
To...
Sorry.
So, James, there's a couple of others reasonably local, right? And are they in a different co-working space these days, or will they be joining you from time to time? Or
No, there's no others here anymore. It's
oh,
just
okay,
me.
okay.
Everyone's left.
Ah,
Katie's gone to New Zealand for some sun, and Martin and Paulina have gone back to Poland
oh, okay, okay.
all by my lonesome.
Maybe if you want to go ahead, Mark, and get
Yeah,
like
maybe
the
we start. Yeah.
Yeah,
MR up at least, and we can just remind ourselves where we're at.
let's go. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so uh I hope I'm not butchering their name, but ago, no, it was 2 weeks ago at least. Basically, last pairing that we had Shivan join us because they were working on basically giving feedback to the users, to the contributors when they issue the GitLab label, GitLab bot label comment on MRs or issues. Because when everything's good, or at least one label is applied, you have the feedback because you see the labels that are applied, and you have the system notes and everything, but you miss any feedback when you basically don't provide any issue, any label that's not applicable. And so basically we are trying to change that, giving the user a feedback, leaving a note mentioning that one or multiple labels were not applied because they were not valid, basically. And so they opened this MR, and we basically got it almost complete. I just reviewed it and left a couple of suggestions so that we can apply them now and move this MR over the finish line.
Cool.
Okay, so I am already on that branch, and I did pull the changes before. What? Oh, yeah, the patch file from last time. Okay, so the comments that I left were about cleaning up the code that we left off. For example, in this comment here, and there was a Robocop complaining about a couple of empty lines. Another comment in here. And there was a couple of issues here as well. Okay, this and this, but I remember suggesting to compress it down even further because we are not changing the body in any significant way, so we can actually do this. that. And here as well, actually. Okay. Let's see if there are any comment left over. I guess not. So going through my review, we did this. We cleaned this up. Oh yeah, and we could discuss this a little bit because right now we're only telling the user has it gone here? Basically, we're building the message when there are no labels specified or when at least one label is not valid, and we are saying no labels specified or some labels are not valid. Do we want to provide the list of labels that are not valid, or should we just say some labels are not valid?
I think it would be preferable if we could provide the list.
So some labels are not valid, comma, column, the list.
That would, yeah, I think that'd be nice.
Okay, so we already have the invalid labels that we can get this way. Here. Labels to apply, labels size. Okay, invalid labels.
Do you want to whack that into a new method?
To build the list.
The invalid labels.
Makes sense. We're using it twice, aren't we? So
Oh, well, we're not actually using it twice because
so we're calculating it further down already, though, right? So we must.
yeah, but this method is not used. We are going to remove this.
Ah, sorry.
Oh,
okay.
Or we can convert this method to build the message.
Yeah, yeah. It might be simple, but it's still nice to break it down.
Yeah. Build invalid labels message or list, maybe list, so we can.
Are you gonna put the quotes and the tilde and stuff in here?
I guess we're going to get those.
Oh, you think they'll be in the? I think
I think-
If we leave the tilde, we are going to have the enhanced visualization message.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think.
know.
Oh, actually, can you display that in the? Because it appears as a toast, doesn't it?
No, this is the
Or is
comment
this
that the
going?
bot is going to leave as a reply to the.
Oh, it's going to be part of the actual comment. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd put the enhanced ones in then if we can. Just wrap them all.
I think you'll have to add that in though, right? I don't think
Yeah.
I get the impression the labels you've got at the moment are just the text, if that makes sense, but I could be wrong.
Oh yeah,
No, I
because
think that's right. Because if you look at command labels, yeah, it's got to wrap it there.
yeah, exactly. So we can do this. With invalid labels.
So from the code, it seems that there is no difference between invalid labels, like misspelled label, and label that is not allowed for the bot to set.
Yeah, but we cannot really make that distinction.
Why?
Because we would have to make an API call to check if a label exists or not. And if the label doesn't exist, you already have that feedback because they're not going to get converted to an actual label token in the UI.
Why we cannot just query all labels that are possible to set?
because of the.
I don't really think it's worth to keep that amount of data just to give. I mean, you already have that when we post this message as a reply, we get the labels converted into their UI token. And if the label doesn't exist, that won't get converted. So you kind of already have that information.
And also the labels list of the GitLab group has 127 pages. So I don't think we should query for all existing labels just to say which ones don't exist.
Yeah, well, we could query those and cache them on the triage bot, but that could be an improvement. I don't really think we would want to.
I think maybe creating the issue would be a good follow-up, just to sort of say, maybe we'll ping a few people and get their input as to whether they think it's worthwhile. But you're right, we could grab the full list. I guess we'd have to get all of the labels for this. No, we wouldn't. Oh, I don't know, because
No, you would need to get those at the root level from the group.
just the group, you wouldn't need project-specific ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, you would actually, I think, because this bot doesn't bias or whatever the word is. All it does is checks against a predefined list and a regex list. So if there was like a random category label that existed in one project but not in another, we would actually need to grab that from the project list. But anyway, that's an aside. We'll create a new create a new issue to discuss that.
Yes, I agree. So some labels are not valid, and here we can pop in the list. Why is it? Okay, wrong character. Okay, so some labels are not valid, and we are going to get the list of labels with a tilde and separated by a comma. Okay. And this method is private, so we don't have to build a spec for that. Good.
It'll get sort of inherently tested, I guess, by
the
spec that you're about to tweak.
Exactly. So first, Rubocop. Let's see if I missed something. Good. And now, well, I already know that there are going to be some wrong ones. Expected message. Okay, so we are going to provide the right message.
I think what you were going to do, just run the spec and look at the failures.
Yeah, because I don't know what labels are applied. Good. Only 3 failures. That's good. So group import, and this was on invalid labels behavior. A new issue mentioned in the bot with setting bot valid. This. So, and that worked because we have the ABCD label specified as not valid. So not valid column.
I'm a bit unsure how we've ended up with carriage. Oh, sorry. Yep. No, ignore me.
Okay. And I guess we can remove this because we're inside single quotes. And let's see, we should be down to 2. Good.
Nice.
So the next one, why this Some labels are not valid. Oh, that's the stop. Security. Security. Some labels are not valid. This one, and now another security. Yay.
Awesome.
And if I remember correctly, I already covered the case and when no labels are applied, no labels specified. Okay, we should have everything.
Awesome.
Let's check Rubocop now that we made the changes to the spec. And this was the wrong comment. Good. The only last thing left is cleaning up the commits. Because if we see here, yeah.
Is it causing the pipeline to
Yeah, there's danger failing. Yeah.
and is the squash option enabled on the MR?
Three commits and one merge commit. No, it's not enabled.
Can you try enabling it? I'm intrigued to, although I guess it's still not going to rerun the pipeline until you push the you maybe do want to just I don't know. I hope the danger's clever enough if you do squash to not moan, but
I'm not too sure, but we can push these changes up and see.
yeah.
So add git commit and let's do it this way. Okay. But was it only danger complaining? Yeah. On the first stage.
So what's the under coverage? Because you haven't really added any coverage just now, have you?
It was complaining about post labels.
The method that wasn't referenced from anywhere.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So there was no way it was going to have coverage.
Yeah. Let's see pipelines. Done. No, wrong one. Danger. And now we wait.
I can do another quick sort of review almost on it while we're waiting.
This failed, and I guess
same reasons.
Oh no, different. Merge request title.
Okay.
It is clever enough then. Wow. Well, I guess we are only different danger message.
Yeah.
Main. Okay, so 72 max characters and the period at the end. Okay, we can fix that.
Easy.
Provide feedback to user when using the label. Okay. Okay, yeah, the pipeline. Okay, all green except for danger.
Yeah.
We run that. So let's accept this one so that we close them. This was applied. Applied. We did this.
They're just going through the skimming. I mean, it's actually quite a small diff. But the only things that grate me a tiny little bit that I'm not sure, they're not really blocking, but the method names. So build message for the user is not a very Ruby sort of method name. I don't know if build message is sufficient, or if you're trying to clearly kind of say, well, this isn't about building the quick action command, etc. This is specifically about building the warning or the error, or
build the feedback message.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, we can change that. And actually the build invalid label list is also, we're not returning a list.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the same thing there. I would be inclined to rename that one. I don't know if it defeats the purpose a bit, but invalid labels, and then do the joining and the mapping inside the build message. But I don't know if anyone else feels strongly that's not a good thing to.
If no one complains, I'm going to go for that.
That's the one.
Nope. What was it? We cannot insert that.
I think invalid labels list will do as the local variable name here.
Yeah, I was more thinking how to build a message, because we cannot put this inside here because of these double quotes.
Yeah, I think just a local variable. Yeah.
Labels list.
I think it would work with the single quotes because you're not inside the string itself, but in the interpolation thingy.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But with the variable is probably better.
I prefer it split out. I think trying to inline that would be.
It's easier to read this way.
Yeah, that works for me.
And this is build feedback message, which goes here.
I'm also thinking if we should remove that build prefix, because are we really building something? We are just returning a string, or?
Yeah, no, agreed.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. And we could probably
What are you thinking?
I was thinking that we are basically doing this. Oh no, we're only doing a diff of the size. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So
Oh, are you thinking of doing else if invalid labels dot any or something like that?
Yeah, but that we would need to call 2 times invalid labels, because one to check and one to get the list, or we should always get the list of invalid labels, for example, up here. And
yeah,
but it's
all good.
Only doing an int diff. Yeah. Uh, do, 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 do. Still good. Okay. Add, get, commit, rename it, methods. Danger complains for comments with only 2 words, right?
I'm sure I've seen it before, so I try and always use 3, but I
Yeah.
think because of the squash option, like it's not complaining anymore about like the capitals and the other bits. So
Good
I'd
point.
be frustrated if it complained about that.
Yeah.
So I posted a tool in the contribute channel, which is called Review Doc, which makes all this hassle away. Like it automatically suggests modifications from the code based on automated tools. So if Danger is complaining about something that could be fixed automatically, Review Doc will create the suggestion comment.
Oh, interesting.
That works for GitHub, but I believe they work with GitLab too, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it says supports GitHub, Travis, Circle, GitLab, Bitbucket, and Jenkins.
Oh. This is nice. Is this another AI tool?
No, I believe it's simple, like old school handcrafted,
Okay.
because there is a separate action for making the comments and then updating the comments. When you make the changes, it will update the comments that it made.
Okay. Now, this is interesting.
We need to find a repo to play with it now.
Yeah, it's a warning.
Cool.
Okay, so the last pipeline is still going. Come on, under coverage. I know. Wrote all the specs. We should indent this button a little bit. Okay. Yeah, okay. It should be all good.
Very
So
good.
who's going to do the review now?
Me. You're the reviewer. I'm the maintainer. So yeah.
Okay.
And all being well, we can get it merged, wait for it to deploy while we're looking at something else, and then actually test it at the end as well. So I don't know if you do you mind crafting a little note as to what in the MR description we're missing something? Can I just quickly finish the
yes.
review? Thank you.
So how do you actually see it in action? Do you have some Docker images or VM?
So it's quite simple to spin up triage ops. You don't need to use Docker. You can just run it. I can't remember. I think it's Puma that you run. But the thing that isn't very easy is kind of connecting it to your GDK and making sure that all the tokens are configured so that they can talk to each other. And then if this is configured to only run for a specific project or in a specific group, then you've got to make sure that you can emulate those in your local GDK. So we do tend to do a bit more live testing, production testing in this project than we would normally. And as this is an existing processor and it's kind of like a reasonably small change, I think we can get away with that.
So, like, how many hours will I spend if I want to test triage ops, like from zero, having only documentation?
I think it depends on what. So if I imagine something that I've worked on triage ops fairly recently, I think it would only take you an hour, half an hour or so. The doc I'll share a link quickly in the chat how to run it locally. And there's a command. It's documented how to set up the tokens. So reactive run locally. Let me drop that link.
Yeah, I know. The link. I know the link that just an hour is too much. I think that most people will not go through the process, like just trying to set it up, and then next time you need to make it from scratch. It's also like will put people away.
I think it depends on the complexity, and if I'm honest, I don't think that as a reviewer or maintainer that I expect community contributors, definitely, that I don't expect them to have gone through that process. Obviously, it'd be nice for them to be able to, and if they wanted to, but I would never hold an MR up on that basis. I think I would test it locally myself if I wasn't confident enough to merge it straight through. Right.
Okay. All should be good.
Okay, I'll check the. Do you want to? Are you able to approve it anymore, Marco, or now you've pushed commits?
No, I can.
Interesting. So if you want to approve it,
I guess I can because this is not set up in the same way as the main GitLab project.
I'm just going to give it one last. So say the changes aren't huge. So we have got a bit of missing coverage actually. Can you scroll up?
Do we?
Yeah, can you see any labels to apply? So we haven't got a test.
Oh, that method can be removed, I think, because it was a previous condition of the applicable method and which has been removed.
Oh, we're not referencing it anymore. Okay.
I'm going to remove that. Yeah.
Cool.
And that was the only one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I love that code coverage or test coverage visualization. Absolutely love it. And did you also, somebody told me recently you can get that quite easily in VS Code actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to try and remember the extension that you have to.
From my reaction, it definitely wasn't me.
We'll try that in a second. You get that pushed, and I'll see if I can remember what the extension was. Coverage gutters, it's called. So we'll get that. Give that a spin in a minute.
Okay, I just pushed up the change.
Awesome, thank you. I'll have to be patient. Wait for the pipeline to run.
I guess I can stop my screen share.
Do you want to just?
Oh, you
No.
want to play?
No, actually, no. Let's not get carried away with that. We got 15 minutes. We got quite a few people on. Martin, sorry, forgive me. I don't know if we've crossed paths in the past. Did you want to say hello, introduce yourself at all, and any questions for us? Or? You're on mute at the moment there. It looks like you're on mobile, so I'll let you off if you don't want to. Okay, we'll keep going. No worries. So yeah, was there anything anyone else? I saw Andrew, you had a question there. That might be something that James put on the spot. Might be able to a weird node error, but I don't know if that is more of a GCK.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
Type.
I've destroyed my GCK and I'm recreating it again to see if that helps.
Okay, cool.
So it's currently in the process of rebuilding all the Docker images.
Cool, which doesn't actually take obscenely long, right?
It's been running since I posted that message, so 15 minutes-ish, 10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes.
Okay. Is that on an M1 or Linux?
No, it's on Linux.
Okay.
I don't know what it spent most of the time seeding the database, I think. It seemed to take a very long time for some reason.
Oh, we have double Martin.
Maybe one for audio and one for video.
No, you have one Martin who can talk now.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
So, are you new to the community, or have I been bad and forgotten?
No, I'm pretty new. I started with a hackathon last December, and I just got this invite through the communication channel, and I found it interesting.
Awesome.
So I wanted
Brilliant.
to join.
Whereabouts? What did you contribute during the hackathon? Like front end, back end, docs? What was there?
Some varied things, mostly CI test fixing for some spare tools like the auto DevOps stuff. And I have one open PR in the GitLab main repository that's currently blocked by database review. And thought that would be a nice thing to discuss, but I don't know if it's the right scope for this meeting here.
Oh yeah, feel free to drop the link into the chat, and again, whether you're able to do that if it's on your mobile.
Yeah, that's a bit problematic. I have a company laptop and it cannot join Zoom meetings, so I will drop the link in the Discord contributing channel. And
yeah, perfect. Thank you.
So you can open it and share, because sadly I can't.
That's perfect. Thank you.
So maybe where you're starting to share, what I did was adding a search filter for the merge request view, where you can search by merged by or merged user who merged the merge request.
Rings a bit of a bell.
Yeah, that seemed simple at first, but the database side doesn't make me happy at the moment, because there's a lot of stuff I can't do as a community contributor because I can't access large data sets like you have.
Yeah.
And it's a bit complicated to get the queries right. And that's the point where we are blocked
Okay.
right now.
I'll share the screen. My database knowledge isn't amazing, so whether I can actually. I was just trying to look at what the threads were that were still open. So,
I was sending you a direct link to the thread that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. There is one that's supposedly blue. This one here. Okay.
Yeah, like halfway down. Yeah. So we're discussing how to do the right queries, and I've had like at first I was using some null and not null stuff because my Ruby skills are not very good. So I also learned Ruby in December.
Awesome. How are you finding it? Love or hate?
It's a bit of a hate because it's a lot of implicit stuff that happens with Ruby, and I'm not used to it.
What's
I'm used
your
to
more native language?
in fact, I write almost any language, mostly Python. But with Ruby, it's just too much magic for me. Or at the moment, it's too much magic for me what happens in Ruby.
No, I understand that, and I think a few others will here as well, because I've come from C# world where, a lot of script typing, and I'm every day discovering new Ruby magic tricks that how does it do that? Oh, I see, that automatically happens.
Yeah. That once you get the hinge of it, once you know what's happening, it's really awesome, I have to say. You can do a lot of stuff with very little code, and it's pretty awesome. But till you understand it, you're completely lost.
Absolutely.
So what we're seeing here is a discussion about how to optimize the queries, how to make it good. And I think the interesting part starts in the last 2 or 3 comments where we
I'm going to scroll down in a sec, but I think that pipeline might have finished. Yep, so I'm all happy with that. So I'm going to hit the merge button on that Alpha MR if it will let me. So then hopefully we can test that at the end of this session as well. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so sorry. So saying.
Let's see, where is it?
So it looks like they've said there was a problem, but then changed their mind and said there's not, though, right? Or...
Yeah, that was an understanding issue at first, which became like a really good question that triggered a lot of optimization. I was using because the filter works on merged by, and if the request is not merged by is obviously null. So that was my first thought there, and that led to a way with queries taking like 6 minutes for the merge request view and the GitLab repo.
Right.
Not a really great solution, obviously. And Fabienne and I think Arpit had some input how to optimize it further down. There should be a post where Fabienne posted runtimes for the queries like 5 days ago.
Okay. Oh, wow, you've all been busy over Christmas, haven't you?
Yeah, I had a lot of spare time over Christmas.
No way to join the metrics. Okay, so you shared that.
I shared that, yeah. And then Fabienne shared this Postgres AI links. And I think that's a tool only GitLab employee can access.
Yeah.
So sadly, I cannot. It's a bit difficult to work with this as an external contributor.
Yeah, there are some things that I think work. But yeah, that should be okay. So this was the first one. Bit we're really interested in, probably that.
Small screen and query plans.
So
And
yeah,
execution time
20
20. That's
And
too
what-
long.
yeah, I can't remember what we aim for. It's kind of like, is it less than 100 milliseconds or something? I can't remember.
He wrote 5 seconds might be okay at this.
Oh,
in this
okay.
case. So
Okay, maybe because it's a more complex.
yeah, it's a more complex filter. So
Okay, so this one's good, right? So what was the queries you shared above? So you shared filter by existing user,
even
negate.
these queries run 28 seconds. That's not good.
So the first one was slow, but the second one was quick. So what's the
Yeah. I'm thinking how we can how I can get further in this regard, because I can't move it forward right now.
Yeah. So I could make a suggestion. I don't know whether it'll wash or not, but I don't know whether. So the problem is the big projects and groups and instances, I guess. Is this something that are you using GitLab at work, or this is something that you want in the product and it would help you with something you're trying to do? Is
No, actually, that's a 2-year-old issue, I think, that's somewhat open for you. And I wanted to do something else that got too complicated, so I picked that as a starting issue for the
awesome
hackathon.
Okay.
And the good part is I know now how to implement the feature I want.
Right. Okay.
But I kind of want to get this thing here to a close. So
yeah, absolutely. So I'm tempted to suggest and see whether it would be possible for us to put this behind a feature flag, because I feel like for self-hosted customers or anyone that's got like a smaller group or project on GitLab.com, then this would probably be fine. But the problem comes when you're running this on a big instance or on a big group or project. So clearly it will be down to both the database team and Kai, who I believe would be the relevant product manager for this to kind of make that decision. But it can be a good way to get something through and over the line when there's kind of a blocker like this, which is, I don't know if out of scope is quite the right word, but it sounds like, I guess you've done the front end and back end work that needed to be done. And now it's kind of, as you say, this is a bit out of your control and tools that you don't have access to. So I could suggest and sort of see if that's an option that we'd be interested in sort of moving forward with, putting it behind a feature flag so that it can just be enabled on specific groups, projects, or instances until someone can actually find a more, I don't know what the word is.
An optimized solution.
Yeah. But just look at, so is this field indexed?
Yeah, the merged by field is indexed, but I think we can get a composite index on like merge by and merge request ID. That could speed things up considerably.
Right. So merge request. Oh, okay. It's because it's.
Yeah, that's the main problem. All these merge events are in the metrics table, and you always have to do a join if you want to get anything out the metrics table at this point.
So is this not in? This must be indexed though, right?
Yeah, that is indexed.
Okay, but it's having to return. Yeah, okay. So yeah, because this, I guess this table doesn't have the project ID. It's a bit of a catch-22. You've either got to get all the records from this table based on the merge by ID, and then use the merge request IDs from that table, and then okay.
Yeah, basically the merge request metrics table would have the project ID. But since we're on the merge request view and we are added filter, you can combine my filter with any other filter like approved by or string searches. So we cannot really edit the base query here. I can just add to it. I cannot subtract something.
Okay. But how did you say you think there is an index that can be added that will improve this further, or?
There might be an index for this specific query that would help, yes.
Right. And that would be
index on the merge requests table containing merge request ID and merged by.
But is that field's not in the merge request table though? Isn't that the point or not?
It's in the merge request metrics table. Yeah, I'm not really sure how Postgres processes indexes. I'm on the MySQL world, and there it is an iron rule that you can only use one index per table per query. I don't know how Postgres does it.
Right. Yeah. So
or at least I'm not sure how Postgres does it.
Yeah.
So what I would do in the MySQL world is do an index on the join condition, which is the merge request ID for the metrics table, and on the search criteria, which is merged by ID. That's what I would do in MySQL world.
Gotcha.
But it's not entirely true in the Postgres world, I think.
Okay. Now, if only I knew how to use this tool. Production.
Actually, from what I read in your documentation, this tool is kind of awesome because you can do hypothetical indexes and stuff like this.
Exactly. Yeah.
But,
So we need to figure out what the command is to add the index, and then we can run that query, I think. So if I open, by the way, if anyone wants to, pipeline's still running, so we can't, what's broken?
Oh no.
500, internal server error. Eek. Is that a timeout or? Sorry, I'm just on another screen that you can't see at the moment. It looks like the MR's exploded.
We all know that.
I have to come back to it.
This error is unrelated because it's syncing the pipeline schedules of the project, but
we're looking for merge request metrics. Okay. So let's do on merge request metrics using. So we've got merge request ID and merged at. Yeah. So let's try it. So let's try copying this one. So we want to index merge request metrics on merge request ID and merged by.
Yeah.
On merge request using BT merge request ID and merged by, where merged by is not null, I guess.
I'm never searching for null. Yes.
I should have done exec, I think. And then I guess I want to run explain this afterwards. I think it's quite quick, but it can clearly take a little while. I don't know if this is spinning up like a replica of the entire GitLab.com database.
No, if I read correctly, it does something like a Git branch of the database. So it's creating a shallow clone, which only has the added index now. I'm not sure how fast it should be, but it sounded awesome.
Yeah, I mean that was quite quick, wasn't it? Managed by ID.
You misspelled the column. It's merged by ID. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Actually, that might even take quite a while to add that to create that index as well. Come to think of it, because I guess there's a lot of records in that table.
Yeah, it takes the whole GitLab public database.
18 terabytes.
Oh,
Yeah, that's quite a bit of data. I'm not sure how long this can take.
We'll give it a couple of minutes. I flick back to that MR while I'm waiting for it to see. Hopefully the deploy still works. See.
I would probably just retry that job.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Give it a go. Yeah, I tried following the link though from the error, and it was just waiting. So I'm guessing it's probably an API query that's timing out, maybe. Oh no, it's returning now. So fingers crossed. This is the API query. And it's returning data, so fingers crossed. Marco, do you fancy trying gutters while we're waiting for Joe?
you want to try the change that we made to the...
So we can't, it hasn't deployed yet, although that job has now passed. That will be deployed soon.
Gutters.
But the the VS Code extension, just to see if
Yeah, I completely misunderstood that.
No, that's all right. No worries.
So let's share my screen. Okay, you can see.
Yep.
Extensions, gutters, coverage gutters.
Yes, I picked the one with 387,000 installs rather than the one with 3,000 installs.
Yeah, works with many languages. But how do we generate the coverage?
So apparently you just run the RSpec. It depends if RSpec has been configured correctly. If it hasn't, then maybe we'll have a quick bash at poking it to configure it to generate them. But
so basically something like just running the RSpec.
Yeah. So see, it's generated coverage reports.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I would expect like almost magically to now see the coverage visualized. I don't know whether turning it off and on again or
Let me clean this
yeah.
a little bit. So I don't have an icon for that. So
That's interesting. Like there's coverage statistics for the projects, it's already available from pipelines, and it will be much easier for the people to browse it if it somehow could be shared from the server.
So do you mean actually pulling the coverage report from the server into VS Code, or?
Yeah, because you cannot like run reliably like the full test case in most developers' machines. So
Yeah.
there should be a way for such popular extensions to connect to some coverage databases.
Yeah, I guess the problem is if what you're actually after is real time, so you're making changes, then I guess that's not going to work.
Hmm. This should be working.
Is it worth just closing and relaunching VS Code? The simple turn it off and on again just in case.
We can do this, reload.
Look like it, does it?
That deprecated extension isn't the gutter thing, is it?
No.
Oh no.
Oh,
Have
okay.
you got anything in your, I think it's the output tab? You can select the extension and it'll coverage gutters. That's
Second
it.
from the top.
Initializing.
And it's helpful. There wasn't a debug option or anything, was there, in when you're looking at the settings for the extension a minute ago? I know like the GitLab workflow's got a debug one, which I think prints a bit more verbose out to the console, but
Coverage record file names. But this is looking for index.html though. Do I have that? Yes, I do. I'm also curious to see what this is like. Oh, this is a complete coverage.
And you click on the files to see the coverage of that specific file, which lines are missed and which ones are covered.
Okay, so MR label. Oh, wow.
Nice. It's just a shame it isn't. Like, I don't know why it's not coming through to.
Yeah. Hmm. Context menu, quick comment for a context menu. Coverage gutter. Display coverage.
Oh,
nice.
so can
So
you?
where did
go
you
on.
get that menu?
Sorry?
Where did you get that menu?
Just right-clicking on the file.
Oh, okay.
And if you use the coverage gutters watch, it will probably automatically update if you run the specs again and remove some specs for testing, for example.
Yeah, or add a method that's not covered or something like that. Yeah, awesome.
Probably easier. Like undo undo. Def up test method and return. So let's run this back again. Oh, yeah, that worked.
Awesome.
This is cool.
We can thank. I think it was Raymond that recommended this, and I haven't actually tried it myself yet. So I appreciate you being guinea pig on the fly.
This is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool. So,
Do
like I
it.
say, it saves like all of these. Like left hook, it can be a back pain sometimes, but it's really cool when it stops you waiting and pushing something, and then in 2 hours later getting a message to say that your pipeline failed,
Yes.
etc. So yeah, anything that can kind of make you realize issues sooner and more upfront, I think is helpful.
Yeah, I actually wondered. We do have coverage files generated when we run bundle RSpec.
So here's the thing that I find. I might have got this completely wrong, but I think you have to configure RSpec to generate those coverage files, and I've got a feeling that we may not have it configured by default in some of our projects. So there should be a .rspec file, but we don't have it here.
I think we should check the spec helper, because mostly the simple cuff thing is configured there.
So yeah, try look in the spec folder, and then the spec helper. And then I see there's a simple car VMV as well, isn't there?
If it's equal to 0, this is going to start simple cov.
But then even then you have to, I think, provide a bit. Oh, no, that might be enough. That might be enough.
But oh, unless that's 0, so it's always enabled.
Yeah.
And I think for the GitLab project is the other way. If you don't explicitly enable it, it's disabled.
We can have a look.
Oh, that index is just finished creating, so I'm going to run the query while you're. Took 12 minutes. That's then going to be fun if we want that index created on GitLab.com. I don't know how you go about creating an index. When
but can be created in the background without a lock. So.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Simple cov. Yeah, we have to turn it on. It's not always on, like on the 3 airdrops.
Gotcha. But I don't. Maybe not. I wasn't sure if installing the gutters thing had actually was forced. It was actually modifying the behavior of RSpec in some way, but I may be wrong. I just never noticed that coverage report message appear at the bottom before when you run an RSpec in that project. I'm going to reshare my screen. Bad news, unfortunately. Well, it depends. I'm going to try running it one more time. I'm interested to know if like running it as a warm, I don't know if that's the right term, warm versus cold, but it's at 22 seconds. So potentially a bit faster than okay. So I don't know if that's always the case. Let me try changing the merge by ID. Change the project ID. I guess there's no data. I need another big project. What is this project?
you can also use without the API. You could also use /projects/API, and it will redirect you to the project page.
Oh, nice. So it's the GitLab project, I'm guessing. So I could try and find like, does GitLab Boss still exist? If I run it, that should still be quite a big repo, right?
Try project ID 7764. That's the about page repo.
Cool. And maybe I should find. Let's try that. Yeah, I don't know how that really works. However, is that cool now that like, or is that literally only because it's run the query once and it's cached it, and will it then lose that cache in a few minutes? And I don't know, but I'll share the results on BMR. I'll also share the note about the potential option of adding a feature flag if performance is an issue. And I hope that now everyone's back from the holidays as well, things will pick up, and someone will either say, yeah, adding that index does the trick, or let's use the feature flag, or they'll come up with another solution. But I feel like it's far outside the remit of the MR to solve the database problem. But at the same time, we can't introduce something, I guess, that's going to cause performance issues. Thanks for sharing, Martin, and thanks for working on it as well. Anyone else for anything else before we just...
Thank you for helping.
Well, I don't know if I can claim to have helped, but hopefully it was insightful to see this tool in action. So
yeah,
awesome. Well, have a great day, everyone, and hopefully see you all later in the week.
Well, actually, I do have a question about like Ruby imports. So in Triage Ops, I tried to import the the file that is deep down in the hierarchy, and I couldn't do this. Like in GTK, or like in GitLab, if I launch IRB, the Ruby console, I can directly import all the classes, but in Triage Ops, I don't understand how Ruby import works. Why require doesn't do anything. So
the main GitLab project is Rails magic that auto imports everything at the start.
Okay, but how does it understand what to import?
Oh, it basically, you can tell you can configure Ruby and tell it, okay, load everything that's inside of this path, and it recursively requires all the files that are inside of that folder and subfolders.
So what's it actually? What's it complaining about?
Drops the .rb suffix from the file, I think.
That's a good point. The require, you're right. We don't normally have the .rb, but yeah, what's it? .com Triage Ops DevOps labels. It's because I can't spell DevOps.
DevOps.
Okay, so that's worked for me.
So require relative, yes, and just require doesn't work.
So require can only be used to require gems. So you can only require what's in the gem file. So I should be able to do like.
Okay, I see. So require relatives is for local files, and require is for, and you need to drop the.
I think it might have worked if I spelled it right with the RB, but I think if you look at any of our our files, we always drop that RB. So yeah.
Right. I need to spin up the Git-pod and see what kind of error I got, but maybe I was not trying require relative, or maybe I had some like problems with the path.
Give it a try. Drop us a message if you get stuck,
Yeah.
and we'll try troubleshooting again.
Yeah, well, I like report in the contributing channel.
Awesome.
Discord.
Cool. Thanks very much. Have a great day.